What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Rehab Christian Center Sunday morning virtual experience. I'm Dr. Zeb, and it's good to see you this morning, and so good to be with you on this morning. Got a new camera thing going on, and so I hope it's looking clear. It looks a little dull to me. I don't know what's going on, but it's good to see you this morning, and thank you so much for tuning in, joining in with us. Listen, man, I got a powerful, I got a powerful word for you today. And I'm excited to share this word with you. And I know you're going to get a lot out of it. I can't even lie. I can't wait to teach this today. This is going to be amazing. And again, just grateful that you've taken the time to share with us this morning. Do me a favor, if you would, start liking this video, start sharing this video, start tagging as many people as you can to tell them to get up and join us this morning. And I promise you, you won't regret it. It's going to be a great time. This is going to be an awesome lesson that I want to share with you. And again, just grateful that you've tuned in. So I want to get through the networks while I can figure out why my camera is so blurry. I want to walk through the networks here. I don't know. It looks dark to me. I don't know what's going on. But I want to walk through the networks and go ahead and start saying good morning in the chat area. Go ahead and start tagging people. Go ahead and tell people to tune in. Start liking the video, sharing the video, doing what you do. And we're going to get through this so I can get right into the message today. And we promise you, you're going to be blessed in a tremendous way by what we're going to share on today. All right, so let's get to it. Facebook, good morning to you. It's so good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're tuned in via Facebook, do me a favor. I want you to like this video. If you really enjoy our broadcast, our ministry, I want you to hit the like button, hold it down, turn it into a love button. I want you to hit the share button, hit the @ symbol, and tag 5 of your friends right now and tell them to tune in. Tell them to tune in with us, join in with us. Let them know that the Rehab Christian Center is live and on the air this morning. And so, again, I know I give you a lot of commands every Sunday and Tuesday. But again, if you're on Facebook, just simply like the video, share the video, and start tagging people and tell them to tune in this morning to our live virtual broadcast. And we know this message is going to be a blessing to everybody that tunes in. Instagram, good morning to you. Those of you that are tuned in via Instagram, thank you so much for joining us. If you're on Instagram, do me a favor. I want you to fill it up with hearts. Let me know you are watching. Let me know that you are tuned in. Let me know that you are tapped in this morning. And then after you fill it in with hearts, make sure you say good morning in the chat area. So good to see you, Bryson. Make sure you say good morning in the chat area. And then I want you to hit that @ symbol and start tagging 5 of your friends and tell them to tune in this morning. Wherever they are, I want you to hit that @ symbol, hit their name so that they get the alert, wake up, and they can join us for this virtual experience on today. So thank you so much, Instagram. Good. I see hearts starting to fly up the screen. Make sure you say good morning in the chat area. But again, hit that @ symbol, start tagging people, and tell them to tune in. YouTube, good morning to you. Those of you that are tuned in via YouTube, thank you so much for joining us via YouTube. We are grateful to have you. If you're on YouTube, do me a favor. I want you to make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you can do that. Just go to YouTube and in the search bar, type TheREHABCC. Go to the search bar and type TheREHABCC, and you will see our channel come up. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so that you can be notified every time we are live. And then I want you to hit that share button and tag this video and share this video with somebody via YouTube. We still have a lot of people that are not on, that tune in every week, that are not on Facebook, Instagram, that don't even have those accounts. And so they watch via YouTube. And so we're grateful for our viewers that do tune in that way. And as I've said so many times before, I promise going forward that we're going to do more on those channels, on that channel to engage people, because YouTube is just so much more friendly of a site to use than the other sites that we use. And so good morning again, those of you that are tuning in via YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining with us. Now, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. I need you to like this video, share this video, whatever network you're on. I want you to like this video, share this video, tag somebody, tell them to tune in. And I need you to do it quickly because we're getting ready to get into the declaration today. And just excited again to be with you. Listen, if you have not already, make sure you share our video, share our video, our flyer about the delayed transition to the hybrid schedule. I'm sure you probably heard by now what was discovered in our building and how that building is now, we cannot inhabit that building. It has been marked as hazardous. And so it happens. You can only control what you can control. Make sure you share that video, though, that flyer. We had so many people from so many different places preparing to be with us on May the 15th. So make sure you share that flyer, that video, so that people know that that move is delayed. I am now in the process of looking for a new location. And my number one goal is not to get something fast, it's to get something right. And so my hope is to get something that really fits the vision of this ministry and the things that we do. And so we'll see. But everything is well. I just need you to make sure you spread the word, number one. And number two, continue to be supportive, continue to be faithful in your attendance and in your giving. Everything else is going to take care of itself. Remember, all things, in fact, do work together for the good of them that love God. That's still an undefeated law. And so y'all stop getting worked up over stuff that you can't fix. You can't do that. You can't live your life that way. You can only worry about what you can control, and that's it. And so I'm just so grateful for all of you, the outpouring of support and love that the outpouring of love and support that you all have shown me over the last couple of days. People have just reached out, and I really appreciate it. But again, I'm just so grateful for your participation and your support, and need you to continue to do that. And we know God's going to bless you. Now, let's prepare for our declaration. Every single Sunday morning, we walk through our declaration. People ask, hey, Dr. Zeb, what does REHAB stand for? Does it stand for rehabilitation? What's that all about? And REHAB really is an acronym that represents the 5 pillars by which our ministry operates. And so we always walk through the declaration every single Sunday morning, and we're getting ready to go through it now. And so I need whatever you're doing, if you're driving, if you're walking, if you're at the pool, if you're getting ready for brunch, like I know many of you are, I need you to prepare to repeat this declaration with me. And as we say this declaration, we say this on Sundays because we understand that the things that we say have the ability to empower our lives, not just for today, but for the rest of the week. There is power, in fact, locked into your words. And so you should never say words haphazardly. Throw words out there, and you should always say words with clear intent. And so we're going to walk through the declaration this morning, and I need you to say this along with me. And I promise you it's going to bless you in a tremendous way. All right, let's do it together. It should be on your screen. I'm going to say it and pause to give you an opportunity to repeat after me. Say it with me. Restore. We declare that everything that is broken, lost, hurt, or destroyed that belongs to us and has been designed by God is restored. My faith is restored. My joy is restored. My mind is restored. Even my lost time is restored. I am no longer broken. The fact that I'm alive means I have another chance. My faith has restored me, and right now, His love is making me whole. Evangelize. Say it with me. We declare that God helped us so we can help somebody else. He loved me when I was unlovable. He changed me when I was a mess. His love lifted me when I was down. I'm not perfect, but I'm free. And anything that came for me can't keep me. Because I'm free, my circle is next. My family is saved. My friends are blessed. My plans are successful. My goals are ahead of schedule. And anything connected to me is blessed, just like me. Hope. Say it with me. We declare that everything that is missing is not lost. In Jesus, I have hope. And this hope makes me confident. It doesn't matter what happens to me or around me. I'm going to win. My relationships are winning. My goals are winning. My family is winning. My neighbor is winning. This city will win. And my row has the victory. My past is defeated, and my future is brighter today than it was yesterday. Alternatives. Say it with me. We declare that God made us different. I'm a royal child, the light of the world, and the hope of my city. I respect the past, but I don't look like what I've been through. I love the church, and my life is balanced. I love coming to church, but I like flights, boats, and vacations. My whole life is blessed. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. I am a lender, not a borrower. And every place I go belongs to me. Breakthrough. Say it with me. We declare that God has a breakthrough with our name on it. I have some challenges, but I am not defeated. No weapon formed against me can prosper. And I know that all things are working for my good. Things are not breaking down. They're about to break through. There is a breakthrough in my career. There is a breakthrough in my home. There is a breakthrough in my health. There is a breakthrough in my finances. I am here on purpose, for a purpose, and everything that went wrong is getting ready to turn around. My friends, did you share that with me this morning? If you did, do me a favor. We've been saying this for the entirety of 2022. And I don't care what circumstances look like. You got to remind yourself in the face of circumstances. I need you to type in the comments quickly. If you made that declaration with us, put it in the comments now. It's going to get better. Hurry. It's going to get better. I want you to type that in the comments now. This is your chance to not only encourage yourself, but this is also your chance to invite somebody to church. Why don't you hit that @ symbol, tag somebody's name, and say it's going to get better? Would you do that for me? Hit that @ symbol, tag somebody's name, and say it's going to get better. It's going to get better. I want you to know concerning your life, your career, your finances, your relationships, your goals, your dreams, your ambitions, your health, your wellness. Things are going to get better in your life. And don't you dare, I like that, Mother Brenda, don't you dare get discouraged. Things are going to get better. It's up to you to take life where it is and make the best out of it. Stop complaining about where you are. Stop complaining about what ain't working. Stop complaining about what's not happening. Stop complaining that you're not as far as you think you should be and things are not as well as they should be. And learn how to be okay in the present. Learn how to be okay in the moment. Because I'm telling you, if you can be okay right now, you're going to be all right when God blesses you. If you can be okay right now, you're going to be all right when God solves things for you, when he settles things for you, when he makes things happen for you. You're going to be okay then. And so many times we are so pressed on what we want God to do, and do this and do this and do this and do this and do this, that we fail to take the time to consume where we are in this moment. You got to be grateful for the present before you can experience your future. I'm going to say this again slow. This ain't even in my notes. I'm going to give it to you anyway. You've got to be grateful about the present before you will ever experience your future, the blessings of the future, the dreams of your future, the goals of your future. You got to learn how to be okay where you are. And so many people are so pressed on where they want to be, so pressed on where they need to be, so pressed on wanting things to be a certain way that they fail to enjoy this thing called the journey. And one of the things I help people really realize a lot, especially in my personal coaching and counseling, is getting them to embrace the power of the journey, right? It's easy to get caught up on what things are not and forget the process of becoming. It is the process of becoming that helps you to be able to make those kinds of declarations. It's going to get better. How can you say it's going to get better and things are bad now? Because you're not paying attention to the outcome of now. You're paying attention to the journey called now. And if you ever get locked into the journey that you're in, when you get to your future, everything you've experienced in your life is going to make sense to you. Somebody needs to hear this morning. You may not be where you are in your life right now, but I promise you, When you arrive to where you will be, everything that you've gone through is going to make sense to you. Maybe this ain't making sense to nobody. All right. But listen to the old man. You might not like where you are now, but if you just learn how to be okay in the present, fully embrace the present, let your guard down, enjoy and consume the present moment. By the time you get to your future, everything in your life is going to make sense to you. Listen, do me a favor. If you are determined, I know this is way out of order, but this is good. If you are determined to start living your best life now and not worry right now about how things are now, but be focused on the things that are coming in your future, I need you to type in the comments quickly. It's going to make sense to me. Come on, quickly, hurry. It's going to make sense. What's the it, Dr. Zeb? It's the journey. It's the process that you're experiencing. There is no real future without a process. There is no promise without a process. This ain't the message for today, but understand there is no real promise in your life without process. And so if you really want to experience real promises in your life, you've got to understand that there are things you're going to go through in the journey that don't make sense. That's okay. Stop trying to make everything make sense and understand that eventually, if you embrace where you are, eventually when you get to where you're going to be, it's all going to make sense. It's all going to add up. It's all going to come together, right? And so it's all going to make sense to you. And I need you to really rest in that today, all right? Rest in that and know that things are going to be well. Listen, after you type that, I know I got y'all typing a lot of stuff, but I got to hurry and move today. After you type that, I want you to type in the subject today. Put it in the comments quickly. Big things in high places. That's what we're talking about. You should see it on your screen. Big things in high places. I want you to type the subject in the comments so that the people that are working, that are tuning in, that go back and watch the replay can see all of your notes. As I promise you every single week, you're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler all week long. Big things in high places. That's what we're dealing with today. I am in St. Matthew chapter 17. I'm in St. Matthew chapter number 17. That's all I'm going to give you today. I'm going to be in verses 1 through 21. Let me just say that instead of 18. St. Matthew chapter 17, verse 1 through 21 in the New Living Translation. All right. St. Matthew chapter 17, verse 1 through 21, New Living Translation. Big things in high places. All right. And this is Super Sunday. We're excited about Super Sunday. And again, just as I said earlier in the broadcast, continue to give, continue to sow. We are now just preparing for whatever's going to be next. And I'm grateful for that. So I want to challenge you to give your Super Sunday seed today. As soon as I got paid Friday, I gave my tithes and my seed. I believe in that. And God continues to bless me. Y'all, I can't even tell y'all on the air. There is only one person that knows about this. A major door happened. Literally, I gave my tithes Friday morning and my super seed. I know I'm all over the place today, but this is just good to me. Gave my tithes and my super seed Friday morning, and literally 4 o'clock Friday, had a meeting, a door open for me Friday that I can't even talk about right now. I can't talk about it publicly. I'll just say, you never know who's watching you. You never know who's empowered by your work. You never know how your work is impacting somebody. And all I can say, y'all, is a major door happened for me Friday that I did not see coming. And I'm going to tell you why it happened. It didn't happen because I'm the best at what I do. It happened because I'm faithful in what I do. Your charge in this season of your life is not to be good, it's to be faithful. Are y'all listening to me? See, we get it mixed up. I'll just rather be good. I'd rather be successful. Why don't you try being faithful? Because when you're faithful over a few things, this is the word. When you're faithful over a few things, he then allows you to be a ruler over a whole lot of stuff. And something happened Friday, and I put it on my social media, and I think a lot of people thought I was sad. It was nothing wrong. Like, I literally, a door opened that was so big that for the first time in my life, I was speechless. I could not think. I could not talk. I got off this 45-minute call, got the information I need to put in this proposal for something that I've been asked to do. And I literally, for like 2 hours, had blocked. I couldn't think straight, none of that stuff. My kids were gone. I went to Lowe's, got some garden stuff, came back, worked in my yard, and I just need to clear my head. because there are things that happen in your life sometimes that are so big that literally, right? And I'm talking about those of you that have gone through seasons where God does exceedingly and abundantly, not just being blessed. I get it. We've talked about this before. It's one thing to be blessed, but it's another thing when God blesses you and does exceeding and abundantly above what you can ask or think. And this thing that happened to me Friday that I cannot talk about, that one person knows, two people, take that back, two people know about this, is exceeding and abundantly above literally my wildest imagination. And I can't wait until it comes out. It's y'all gonna be like, huh? But the point is, it's about being faithful in where you are. You gotta be faithful. You don't need to be good. You don't have to be perfect. You need to be faithful. Because God blesses people that he finds to be faithful. And so Rehab, yeah, we're going to challenge you every Sunday. It's still going to be Super Sunday. Still going to be sowing into this capital campaign. We're going to still give and save and get prepared for whatever the next move is going to be. But I want to challenge you to do that today as you're tuning into the broadcast. And we know God's going to bless you. Now, big things in high places. I got way off, but y'all, I'm telling you, this has been an incredible week for me. And Friday was just the icing on the cake, man. I can't wait to tell y'all. Y'all gonna be blown. All right, so let's talk about this. Big things in high places, St. Matthew chapter 17. And let's read verse 1 through 3. Let's do this. I'm in the New Living Translation. St. Matthew chapter 17, verse 1 through 3 is where we are. All right, let's talk about this. Look at this. It says this, verse 1. Why is my laptop acting crazy? Okay. Now, after 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James, and John, his brother, and led them up on a high mountain by themselves. Look at this. And he was transfigured before them. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes became as white as the light. Verse 3, and behold, Moses and Elijah appeared to them, talking with him. This is the first bullet point I want you to record, okay? Because I'm going to give you this. There are three critical elements that are necessary. There are three critical elements that are necessary for big things to happen in your life. All right, this is going to be so good and practical. There are three critical elements. I'm going to give you three critical elements that are found in verses 1 through 3. Three critical elements that are necessary for big things to happen in your life. Okay, three critical elements that are necessary for big things to happen in your life. And I want to shout out one person, one of the two people that know, said to me yesterday, said, you know, Zeb, everything you say that you said was going to happen has happened in your life. And I laughed at it and I told her, yeah, it has. It never fails. And I'm going to explain why that's the case in a second here, all right? Three critical elements that are necessary for big things to happen in your life, all right? And it's found in Matthew chapter 17, verse 1 through 3. Look at this. Number one, what I call an imperfect waiting period. Okay, number one, an imperfect waiting period. Come on, Facebook, YouTube, I need you to take notes. Hurry, this is getting good. It's going to get good fast. Number one, an imperfect, what I call an imperfect waiting period. Notice this. In verse number 1, it says, now after 6 days. Now after 6 days. Why is that important? Well, the number 7 is the number of completion. The number 7 is the number of perfection. And so it says after 6 days, Jesus did what he did. This is important. 6 is significant because it falls short of perfection. And the way this applies to your life is simple. And that is anything major in your life that's going to move in your life will never happen overnight. Are y'all listening to me? Anything that's major in your life, that's going to be major in your life, that's going to move in your life, happen for your life, happen to your life, happen in your life. There is nothing significant that's going to happen in your life that's going to happen overnight. This is for all of you. And in so many ways, I'm a nerd, and I talk to a lot of my friends about this because my research was in generational studies. And I understand the millennials and Zs. I understand how they think and move, and how their time period impacts how they behave. Those types of, that's what my real clinical research is in. But let me just say this to you. I blame the times that we're in. You know, people look at social media and they see people succeeding, and you see people succeeding, and you see people, their businesses thriving, and all of these things happening. and you start comparing what's going on in their life to your life, and if you're not careful, you will draw comparisons unfairly on your own life based on a life that does not have the same outcomes. In other words, you will begin to diagnose how successful your life is, how great your life is, how well your life is moving by comparing your path to somebody else's path who doesn't have the same path. And I think social media in many ways is to blame for this. If you're going to do anything successful in your life, you got to understand that it takes a process. It is not going to happen overnight, right? And normally that process is what I call an imperfect process, which means in a perfect world, you would be able to say, and I'm just using this as an example. In a perfect world, you'd be able to say, well, hey, by 28, by 30, I'm going to be married. I'm going to be settled in my career. My business is going to be thriving. I'm going to have 10 employees. I'm going to have a PhD. I'm going to have all of this stuff by 36, and you will be able to map out everything. But here's what I discovered. As well as you try to craft your life, normally, when significant things happen in your life, they tend to happen at the most imperfect, inopportune times. The door that opened for me Friday literally came out of nowhere. It came as a result of somebody randomly seeing me on TikTok. That's all I'm going to tell you. Random, just as random as you can imagine, out of nowhere, at the most imperfect, inopportune time. And it is by far the largest opportunity I have ever had in my entire life. Here's what I'm saying. When major things are going to happen in your life, they're not going to happen overnight. It's going to be the culmination of things that typically happen over an imperfect period of time, which leads me to this. I want you to record this. If something is worth having, it's worth waiting for. Put it in the comments quickly. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler all week long. If something is worth having, it is worth waiting for. If something, anything in your life is worth having, it's worth waiting for. And this is for all of you impatient, patient people, got to have stuff when you want it, how you want it kind of people. I'm telling you, life doesn't work that way. And not only does life not work that way, I've discovered that people who have significant things in their lives have typically waited for them. They have had to endure a process to receive those things. They've had to endure a process where they've had to wait on those things. All right. So all of you folk that think you're going to take your life, pop it in the microwave, put it on 4 minutes and pull it out, doesn't work that way. You're going to take your business, pop it in the microwave, pull it out, and it's done, doesn't work that way. You're going to take your relationships, pop them in the microwave, pull them out, and they're done, doesn't work that way. You're going to take your financial situation, pop it in the microwave, pull it out, and it's done, doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. And see, some of you right now, honestly, some of you are frustrated and in self-induced frustration because you have set unrealistic expectations. You have set, no, let me take that back. You have set unrealistic time frames for great things. Oh, I need you to record this. Stop setting unrealistic time frames for great things. Man, this is a word. Stop setting unrealistic time frames for great things to happen in your life. If you want something great to happen in your life, y'all, the chances of really great, I'm not talking about good things. I'm talking about exceeding and abundant things. I'm not talking about just being blessed, having a basic job, a basic home, a basic relationship, basic stuff. I'm not talking about you folk that want basic stuff. I'm talking about those of us that want superior things in our lives. Listen, y'all, unless you scratch the winning lottery ticket, what's the odds of winning the lottery? I know some of y'all know. The odds of winning the lottery typically is like 1 in 320 million, right? Unless your life scratches the magic lottery ticket, where all of these great things you want in your life happen to just magically happen overnight, at the end of the day, most of you, the great things that are going to happen are going to take time. And so you got to stop setting unrealistic time frames for great things. Stop being so microwavy and learn how to get in the oven. Stop being so microwavy and learn how to be get in the oven. It takes longer. Yeah. You got to be more patient. Yeah. But Anything that is great is going to take time. And you got to be willing to wait on it. You've got to be willing to be patient for it, right? And so there was this long 6-day period, just short of the time of perfection, 7 days, and Jesus goes up to the mountain on the 6th day, which is representative of an imperfect period of time. Y'all, your ways are not like God's ways. Your plans are not like God's plans. You can literally have your life mapped out. You can literally have things mapped out how you want them to go. And because God is who he is, he can completely change the schedule, especially if he's going to insert great things into your life. Here's what I've come to understand and personally know. That while it is great to set goals for your life, and you should, everybody should have goals, right? While it's great to set goals in your life, every single time God has interrupted my plans, he's done it to give me something bigger. Can I help y'all? If your plans have been interrupted in this season, it's because God is giving you something bigger. If your goals have been interrupted in this season, I'm teaching way better than y'all saying amen. If your goals have been interrupted in this season, it is because God's giving you something bigger. If your relationships have been interrupted in this season, it's because God is giving you something bigger. If your career plans have been interrupted in this season, it is because God is giving you something bigger, right? Because we can't have it both ways. We can't say that God gives us then the desires of our hearts, but then our plans get interrupted and say that's not God. He's still giving you the desires of your heart, but I discovered that oftentimes he interrupts your plans because your plans and what he has for you is much bigger. Y'all stop panicking. Stop. You're about to worry me to death. Stop. And understand that anytime God interrupts your life, it's normally because he's got something bigger in store for you. It's normally because he's got something bigger prepared for you. Does this make sense to anybody at all? Right? So number one, an imperfect waiting period. Here's the second critical element for you to experience big things in your life. It's this. Number two, the right atmosphere with the right people. The right atmosphere with the right people. The second critical element to experiencing big things in your life is you have to have the right atmosphere with the right people. Okay? The right atmosphere with the right people. This is absolutely a Super Sunday word. Notice this, y'all. Who did Jesus take to the mountain? Peter, James, and John. Where was Jesus leaving before he went? He was leaving the multitude from performing miracles. So he left the crowd, pulled 3 of his closest boys, and went to a high place. There's a lesson you better learn in this. Jesus only takes Peter, James, and John because he had to have people walking with him who would not interrupt where he was going. Can I help some of y'all? Some of you are not productive in your life because you got people walking with you who are literally interrupting where you're going. Oh, come on, Zion. Talk back to me today. Some of you are not heading in the direction you should be because instead of you just having Peter, James, and John going with you, you got Peter, James, John, Paul, Susie, Pookie, Ray, Shaniqua, and everybody else. And I've discovered that the people walking with you can dictate what you can and can't see. Are y'all listening to me? I want you to record that. The people walking with you can help dictate what you can see and what you can't see. Here's Destiny again saying she feel attacked. I'm sorry, Destiny. Right? I want you to record this. The people walking with you can dictate what you can and what you can't see. Some of y'all blind right now in your lives. You live in blind lives because you got the wrong people around you. You're living unproductive lives because you got the wrong people around you. You keep hitting walls in your life because you got the wrong people around you, who instead of helping you figure out how to maneuver the walls, they keep pushing you to it. Come on, get through this wall. Get through this wall. If you can do it, put your back into it. and they just pushing you in the wall, and yep, I got this support. No, the people around you can dictate what you can and can't see. And some of y'all blind because you got the wrong people around you. Some of you can't see your life for what it's worth because you got the wrong people in your ear. Some of you are lowballing your goals and dreams because you got the wrong people in your circle. Some of you are making dumb mistakes with your future and in your present concerning your future because you got the wrong James, Peter, and John in your corner. Oh, y'all don't like this. This is why I don't care. It's better that you had a right circle. Jesus proves it. It's better that you have the right circle than to have a large one. And so many of you are so much more concerned with quantity than you are quality. I'm in a stage of my life. Hey, Pastor. So thank you so much, Dad, for tuning in. I'm in a stage of my life, honestly, where I don't need a lot of nothing in my life. I don't, but money. And you get to a place where you don't necessarily need a lot of money. You just want it because you've learned how to live without. Paul talks about this. I've learned how to be abased. I've learned how to be abound. I've learned how to be hungry. I've learned how to be full. I've learned how to have friends. I've learned how to be by myself. In whatever state I'm in, the main thing is I've learned how to be content. When you're in that space, listen to me. When you're in that space, then you understand that it's quality over quantity any day. You don't need a lot of friends. You need the right ones. You don't need a big circle. You need the right one. You don't need a lot of relationships. You need the right ones. And some of y'all blind as bats right now because you are trying to live your life getting advice from people that don't even belong in your circle. Stop taking advice from people that don't even belong in your zip code. Stop taking instruction from people who can't see farther than the hand in front of their face. Oh, y'all don't like the way I'm teaching. Talk back to me, Zion. I feel my boy Scovins creeping up on me. Are y'all listening to me? Some of you cannot see further than where you are because you got all the wrong people in your ear. And I'm telling you, you can't take advice. In the multitude of counselors, there's safety. That's what the Bible tells us. Counselors, not Oprah, not your cousin, not random folks. In the multitude of counselors. Why is that quantified? Because you don't need to have everybody around you. You don't need to have everybody in your ear. And some of you are missing it. You're missing your next move. You're missing your exit. Some of you are on roads right now you should have long gotten off of, but you're still driving down that same road because you are listening to people that saying, nope, don't turn, keep straight. And you literally have the wrong circle. And I'm telling you, the people walking with you can dictate what you can and what you can't see. There are seasons of your life, much like Jesus, where you have to go to a high place. And when you go there to figure out where you are, to sort out where you are, to sort out where you're going, you can't take everybody. There are seasons that are going to be down seasons where you have to go to these spaces with only the people who can see what you see. With only the people who are talking your language. Because if they can't see what you see, they ain't talking your language, you'll be in a high place with folks that have no business being in your atmosphere. And it will mess up your vision. You'll start second guessing your goals because you got the wrong circle. You'll start second guessing your vision because you're surrounded by the wrong people. You'll start second guessing where you should be heading because you are surrounded by people who don't even see it themselves. I want you to record this. Somebody needs to hear this today. You ready? Somebody needs to hear this. And I was rudely reminded of this week, but it was so on time. Like when I tell y'all, I'm not kidding you, and I'm not blowing smoke. This is one of the most blessed weeks I've had in a very long time. Friday was just the icing on the cake. What happened there? But I was still in the midst of just being blessed literally every time I turn around, something good happening. I was reminded of this that I'm about to tell you. and I want you to record this because somebody needs to hear this. And I'm especially talking to you. If you think I am, I am. Your next miracle is going to require the right audience. Type it in the comments quickly. Your next miracle for your business, your relationships, your dreams, your goals, your family, your resources, whatever. Your next miracle is going to require the right audience. In other words, there's some things God ain't going to do for you until you get the right people around you. There's some doors God just ain't going to open for you until you get the right people around you. I don't care how brilliant you are. I don't care how nice you are. I don't care how qualified you are. I don't care how well known you are. There are some things that ain't going to happen for you until the right people are around you. And let me tell you how crazy God is. Let me tell you what kind of sense of humor he has. He will shut down your program until you get the right people. He'll put your life on pause until you get the right people so he doesn't waste revelation on you. God will pause your life so he doesn't waste revelation on you until you get the right audience around you. Your next miracle, your next big thing is not going to happen until the right audience is around you. I like that, Sister Stephanie. I'm where you are. I ain't forcing no more connections in this season. I'm about to steal it. We're going to use it now. Some of y'all need to stop. You forcing connections. You forcing people to be with you. You forcing, some of you single folks are looking at the clock and you forcing people to be with you because I'm 30, I'm 35, better go and make a decision. You forcing people to be with you and your relationships are going down the tube. You forcing people to believe in what you do and what you do is going down the tube. I'm in that same season as Stephanie. I ain't forcing no more connections. Either you in or you out. Either you with me or you ain't. Either you rolling or you ain't. And here's the other thing. I heard this. Big shout out to Sister Ashley Spencer and her family. I was able to spend some time with her family yesterday at her grandmother's funeral. Just a wonderful service, and really enjoyed the things that they were saying about her in her passing and the memories. Her sister, had to be her sister that gave some comments because she looked just like Sister Ashley. They look like twins. Had to be her sister that made that, or a cousin at least, that made that comment. But one of the things that I got from all of that is this: so many of y'all are so busy forcing connections and trying to force people to get you and force people to understand you and all you're doing is holding up what God's trying to do for you. Y'all stop. The cousin was making a reflection that said that their, Sister Ashley's grandma used to tell them when they were little, and y'all, your kids don't play outside, so y'all don't understand this. My kids love going outside. And I think it's an awesome thing because I think really, in many ways, playing outside really speaks to the creativity of our young people. I think this is why many of our young people struggle to be creative because they're so locked into technology, cell phones, gaming systems, computers. They're in such a digital age that their creativity sometimes is paralyzed versus us growing up as kids. We love to play outside, right? And if you grew up like me, you love to be outside. And you had one rule: you come in the house when the street light come on. Street lights start coming on, that's when you come in the house. You used to play outside, especially during the summer, for hours. Play basketball, play kickball, football, whatever. We'd be out for hours. And they were talking yesterday about Sister Ashley's grandma, and it's so crazy because they said something that I heard growing up too. And they talked about how she used to tell them, listen, you can either come inside or you can come outside. But either way, I'm going to shut this door and I'm going to lock it. Okay. And so whether you in or out, you got to make a decision, make a choice. But it ain't going to be no in and out. And see, many of you, your life is stuck because a lot of the people that you connected to have been in and out of your life, in and out of your vision, in and out with your goals, in and out with your dreams, in and out with their support, in and out with their encouragement. And every time you open the door, you letting air out. See, this is old school. Some of y'all don't even understand what I'm talking about right now. But my mom used to say, shut the door because you let the air out, right? So you shut the door, you letting the air out, you letting flies in. And some of you, your life is not moving in the direction that it needs to be because the door is flapping too much. You need to get the right connections. And like Sister Stephanie said here on Instagram, stop forcing connections in your life. Open that door and give folk the opportunity to come in, and open the door and give folk the opportunity to walk out. Y'all don't like the way I'm teaching. But when you try to force connections, when you try to force people to be with you, some of y'all have gotten so desperate in your love life that you have literally tried to force people to be with. Child, I don't care what it takes. I'm gonna make you love me. Good luck. Let me know how that works out. Yeah, Pastor. I don't care what it takes. I'm gonna make them love me. Good luck with that. Good luck with making people love you. Good luck with making people want to be with you. Good luck with that. See, we understand that, but then we don't understand it in the context of our visions and our goals and our dreams. And we don't understand why our life seems to be on pause. And the common denominator is you're surrounded by people who are in and out, who can't make up their mind of whether or not they believe in you or not, can't make up their mind whether or not they with you or not. And meanwhile, you taking your life being on pause as personal when God is saying, get the right people in your circle, get the right audience around you. Because your next miracle, your next big thing is not going to happen until the right audience shows up. I know we say this in the context of marriage. I know we say this verse in the context of marriage, but let me just blow your mind. How can two walk together except they agree is bigger than marriage? It also relates to your friendships. It also relates to the Peter, James, and Johns that you have in your life. Because if Peter, James, and John don't agree with you, y'all won't be able to walk together because you won't be agreeing. See, we always throw that verse out. How can two walk together except they agree? That's why you got to marry people that agree with you. That's just part of it. You got to have people in your life in general that agree. And some of you have all of this discord in your life because you got so much dissonance in your connections. You have discord in your life. I got to write that down. That was just insane. You have discord in your life because you have discord. No, you have dissonance in your connections. You have discord in your life because you have dissonance in your connections. Period. And see, this is the crazy thing. Yeah, that was good. That's stat worthy. Don't y'all post that on your status. I'm posting that. You have discord in your life because you have dissonance in your connections. And the reason why you've got a lot of drama in your life and peril in your life, and your life feels like it's on pause and things aren't moving, because if you really just check your circle for real, a lot of the people that's riding with you really ain't riding with you. A lot of people that's in the car really trying to find the first way to get out. Let them out. Stop the car. Open the door. So you got discord in your life. You got drama in your life. You got tension in your life because you got dissonance in your connections. So in this season, it's better for you to have the right people around you than to have a whole lot of people around you. So this is making sense to anybody besides me. And see, be grateful that we serve that kind of God who literally, before he reveals things in your life, before he allows things to happen in your life, before he allows big things to move in your life, sometimes he pauses your life to stop the train so that people can get off, people can get on, and then you can move forward to the destination that you're supposed to go in. And this is not a conversation of disdain or anger. See, this is the problem that I have with people. People teach this message, but then they teach it in the context of disdain, meaning, well, it's time for you to get off my life. Don't let the doorknob hit you. Where the good Lord split you. You be dropping people off with anger and dropping people off, man. No. Some people are designed to ride your train forever. There's some people that are designed to ride your train for a season. Stop being mad at folks because they got off the train. Y'all don't like this. See, it takes maturity to embrace when people's seasons with you have expired. I'm going to say this slow. It takes maturity to embrace when people's seasons with you have expired. That ain't what most mature people do. See, that ain't what immature people do. Immature people, when folks' season expire, you kick them out the door. I didn't like you no way. You weren't with me no way. Y'all stop that. You better. And I just spent some time talking about bitterness and resentment. Y'all stop that foolishness. It takes maturity to realize that some people are going to ride the train with you forever. And some people are going to be on that joint for a couple of stops. And they're going to get off. But either way, you don't want to go to the destination unless you got Peter, James, and John. Gosh, is this making sense to anybody? You don't want to get to your destination with Paul, Susie, and Dornell, right? You want to get to the destination with Peter, James, and John, i.e. the right people. Okay? This is important. And some of you need to hear this. Some of you right now are frustrated in your life. I'm still on point number 2, y'all. I ain't got but 2 other points after I give you these 3 things to make, and then I'm done. So point number 2. Some of you are frustrated right now, and this is the God's honest truth. Some of you are frustrated right now with your life and where you are in your life. Facebook, YouTube, y'all ain't typing a lot of notes. Y'all must be really digesting this stuff. It's quiet on Facebook and YouTube. So either I'm teaching real good or y'all multitasking. All right. But listen to me. Some of you are frustrated right now in your life, for real. You're frustrated because you're trying to carry people in spaces they don't belong. Listen, many of you are frustrated right now because you are trying to carry people into spaces they weren't designed for. You're trying to carry people into spaces where they don't belong. And anytime you try to carry a person to a place they weren't designed for or they don't want to be, you're going to frustrate yourself. You're going to frustrate yourself. You're going to tire yourself out. Some of y'all tired and you need a vacation, not because you're stressed out. You tired, not because it got anxiety or you depressed. Some of y'all tired because you carrying stuff you ain't got no business carrying. Are you listening? Some of y'all are exhausted because you carrying stuff you ain't got no business carrying. You carrying people you ain't got no business carrying. You carrying situations that don't even belong to you. You're trying to move along people to places in your life that they weren't designed to go. They don't have the comprehension to see it, to understand it. And you got to stop getting frustrated and frustrating your life, carrying things and people that weren't designed to go. Stop. Stop. And when you do, and I'm telling you this from personal experience, when you do this, then all of a sudden things that happen to you roll off of you. Like literally. This is how I know. I was telling a friend of mine earlier this week. This is how I knew I was growing. I knew I was growing when things would happen to me that used to have me worked up that now I'd be laughing at or used to have me all kind of panicky. Now, man, I'm good. Like the worst problem I got right now is that I have been a little on edge biting my nails. I've been biting my nails the last couple of days, but it ain't been because of nervousness. It's honestly been because of just some great major things that are moving that I just got to make decisions on and do. But y'all, some of y'all are panicking and on edge about stuff that you ain't got no business carrying. Stop carrying stuff. Stop carrying stuff that don't belong to you. Stop carrying people who don't belong to you. And if they do belong to you, just because they belong to you, don't mean their mess belong to you. Don't mean their drama belong to you. Don't mean their problems belong to you. For some people, let me tell you something. The best thing you can do for them is pray. I'm especially talking to you mothers out here. I had this conversation with mothers all the time who literally run their blood pressure up, worrying about little Johnny. Johnny, 45 years old, a full-grown man, and you worried about Johnny, and you crying over Johnny, and you ain't eating over Johnny. When at the reality, the best thing you can do for Johnny is pray for Johnny and go warm you up some dinner. Y'all stop carrying stuff you can't fix. Stop carrying people you can't fix. And stop carrying their problems. Yes, be concerned. It's nothing wrong with being concerned with people. It's human decency to be concerned for people. It's human decency to be concerned with what people got going on. That's human decency. But carrying folks, grown folks, especially problems, y'all stop that. See, because when you carry, and I ain't trying to get all clinical on y'all, but let's just go here real quick. When you carrying all of these folks' problems that aren't yours, I'm not talking about being concerned. It's okay to be concerned. But when you're carrying them, 9.5 times out of 10, it's a sign that you have poor boundaries in your life. You're welcome. I just gave y'all a free counseling session that I charge people hundreds of dollars for. It's a good sign you have poor boundaries when you are carrying the problems of grown folks that you, or people in general, that you have no business. If you're one of those people that's always carrying folks' stuff, that's always walking around with their problems, walking around with them, walking around with your concerns about them, I guarantee you, you got poor boundaries in your life. I guarantee it. The research supports it. So you fix it by creating better boundaries and saying, yes, I'm concerned about them, but their problem can't be mine, or else it will mess up the process God has for me. I love them and I want them to do well, but I can't let what they're dealing with shake up what I got going on and shake up what's about to happen for me, or else their problems interrupt my future. Their problems interrupt my process. Y'all missing it. Some of y'all have allowed other people to interrupt your process, your future, because you allowed their issues to mess up your process. Y'all, I'm dropping bombs like Hiroshima over here. Some of you have allowed people's problems to mess up your future because you've allowed what they got going on to mess up your process. Stop. Stop. Set better boundaries in your life. I like that Sister Connie Denise don't know who you are. Like she put in the comments. Worry not, pray, let go, and let God. It's a great formula. I'm telling y'all, the Bible says be anxious for nothing. In fact, let's just be clear. The Bible don't say nothing about anxiety. Dr. said, yes, it does. Paul says be anxious. Don't have anxiety about anything, but in everything through prayer and supplication, let your request be made known to God. Here we go. And the peace of God that surpasses all understanding will guard your hearts and keep your mind. Some of us got peace because we just not worried about stuff everybody else worried about. Some of us got peace because the stuff that's stressing y'all out that ain't got nothing to do with us is not going to be in our lane. Destiny, I know your business because God, he know your business, honey. Can't wait to meet you too, by the way. Are y'all listening to me? Some of y'all are stressed out because you worried about stuff you ain't got no business worrying about. It's that simple. And you got to create better boundaries in your life so that you don't let their problems become your problems. I'm teaching to somebody. Facebook and YouTube is dog quiet today. So this must be, y'all must be taking this in. We got good viewer crowd too this morning. Y'all quiet. But listen to me. You got to stop worrying about stuff that don't belong to you. Stop worrying about people that don't belong to you. And get the right people, because I'm here to tell you, you're going to get frustrated when you try to carry folk that don't belong to where you're trying to carry it. This thing hit me again this week. God just reminded me, he said, you're doing the right, there ain't no need to worry. You good. Continue forward, do what you do. But understand, you ain't going everywhere with everybody. And if you want anything significant in your life, let me help y'all. You ain't going everywhere with everybody either. And so God is one of those kind of gods where if he got to disrupt whatever to make sure you get to the destination with the right people, he'll do it. It's relationships, that's friends, that's connections, that's for your business, that's for your career, that's for nothing. Understand this. Every disruption ain't an interruption. Y'all might want to write that down. Every disruption is not an interruption. Every disruption is not an interruption. There's some disruptions that are happening in your life because God literally wants to make sure you have the right people, the right season, and the right atmosphere necessary for him to do for you what he wants to do for you. Y'all stop taking that personal. Don't take it personal. And stop carrying the weight of people that you don't need to be carrying. Are you parents especially listening to me? Are y'all listening to me, especially you parents? Because I find this to be so true for folks, especially that parent. You worry so much about your kids, and I get it. Lord knows, I'm even in that place where sometimes Giselle and Ford just 8 and 9, but I be worrying about them. What's life gonna look like for them at 25, and how is this gonna happen? And then God just be reminding me, live in this present moment, do the best you can, Pray and worry not, and watch me handle the rest. And you have to apply that same rule of thumb to every area of your life. And that's what I do, y'all. It takes a lot to get me worked up now in this season I'm in. Like, the only thing that's going to get me worked up is if you tell me I can't go on vacation 4 times this summer. That might get me worked up. Why? Because I like flights, boats, and vacations. I don't say it, I mean it. And if you tell me I can't go on vacation, y'all might see me a little worried. And yeah, I'm being facetious, but I'm being true too, honest too. It takes a lot to get me worked up now. Why? Because I have taken the advice of the Apostle Paul, and that is, be anxious for nothing. Have anxiety over nothing, but in everything, through prayer and thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. That's it. Part of that is just getting the right people in your circle, man. And let me help y'all. Dr. Zeb, because somebody asked me this week. Well, Dr. Zeb, how do you know you got the right people in your circle? Let me help you. Y'all ready for this? She said to me, Dr. Zeb, I got people in my circle, but how do I know they're the right people? You know what I said to her? It's the same thing I'm going to say to y'all. If you have to ask yourself, I wonder if they are, they're probably not. I'm dropping gems on y'all. If people are in your life and you have to wonder if they're the right people, they're probably not the right people. Does that make sense? Because anybody that's solid, anybody that's keeping it a buck in your life, you ain't got to wonder about it. There are folks literally, and I talk about this as one particular friend of mine, well-known pastor, is doing incredibly well. We talk maybe once every 4 to 6 months. Literally, I talk to him maybe 2 to 3 times a year. Literally. And he's on speed dial. I can call him if I need anything. He can call me if he needs anything. Nothing's changed. His life has gone in a trajectory. My life has gone in a trajectory. Nothing's changed. One of my great friends can call him anytime I need him. I probably talk to him 2 to 3 times a year. And it has never crossed my mind, I wonder if he liked me. I wonder if he for me. I wonder if he in my corner. And we talk 2 to 3 times a year. Some of y'all talk to folk every day and you wondering about them. Some of y'all communicate with folk every week and you wondering about them. And I'm going to give you the answer. If you got to wonder if folk for you, it's a good chance they ain't. There's your answer. You got a revelation from God today. If you got to wonder about them, they probably not. It's that simple. Is this making sense to anybody? Okay. Number 3. Destin said enough. Destin, I'm wearing you out today. I know it. Here's the 3rd critical element to receiving big things in your life. And then I got to move y'all because I'm running out of time. Definitely not running out of word. Is this blessing anybody? If it is, y'all like this video, share this video, tag people, tell them to tune in right away. Got about 20 more minutes. Tell them to tune in. All right. I like that confirmation 101. Here's the 3rd critical element that's necessary for big things to happen in your life. Are you ready for this? The 3rd critical element for big things to happen in your life is what I call a higher place. Okay, a higher place. If big things are going to happen in your life, it requires a higher place. Jesus takes them to a high mountain by themselves. They don't go to Walmart. They don't go to Publix. They don't go to Steak and Shake. They go to a high mountain. So before the miracle occurs in their life, he takes them to a high place, because high places represent a mentality that's higher than common ground. High places, I want you to record this. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler all week long. High places represent a mentality that's higher than common ground. A high place doesn't have to just be a physical place, but more often than not, high places are mental places, are spiritual places, are higher places emotionally. So Jesus symbolically takes them to the mountain, but his taking them up to a high mountain is symbolic of them taking them mentally, spiritually to a higher space. I got to make this make sense to y'all. So let me take my time here for the next 2-3 minutes, right? So it's more than height. It represents mentality. It represents a mentality that's greater than the commonality of the common ground that you're on, right? So in our lives, if we want to see bigger things happen, sometimes we have to retreat to higher spaces, meaning you don't have to move to Colorado where the land density is thinner. I'm not talking about that, but I'm saying that in your mind, your mentality, your spirituality, if you want to experience big things to happen in your life mentally, you've got to go to a higher place. And this is important because when you mentally and spiritually go to a higher place, watch this, the stuff that used to rattle you no longer has an impact on you. Some of y'all need to know, Dr. Zeb, how do I know I'm growing spiritually? How do I know I'm maturing spiritually? How do I know I'm maturing mentally? How do I know I'm growing mentally? Let me help you. When the stuff that used to rattle you, used to bother you, that used to give you anxiety, that used to have you worried up at night, now simply rolls off of you, it is a good chance you are moving and living in a higher place. And some of y'all are struggling with the same stuff because while you getting promoted on your job, you get new relationships, you got new cars, you got new clothes, you got new houses, you got new booze. The only thing that ain't went to a higher place is your mentality. And let me help you. You can have physical things, but if your mentality doesn't go to a higher place, you won't keep the physical things because your mentality is in the wrong place. Which is why you can take somebody out the projects and give them $1 million. But if you don't change their mentality when you take them out the projects, they're going to take that $1 million and spend it how? Like they in the projects. And this is why some of you are blessed and you stuck. This is why some of you are blessed and you ain't moving forward. This is why some of you are blessed and you going through the same things in your life because God is giving you more. And the only thing that has changed in your life is your tax bracket. Your tax bracket has changed, but your mentality ain't. And y'all, I'm going to help y'all. If I came from the projects, I don't want to have a mansion blessing, but a project mentality. I quit. Is this making sense? So you want to see bigger things happen in your life, you have to retreat to a bigger place. Mentally, emotionally, you do. And stop getting rattled and razzle-dazzled by all of this small-minded stuff. Like, bro, there are times I used to have arguments with people that the arguments, I would have them and then I would simmer in that argument for days. Y'all ain't going to be honest enough to admit this. I will admit this. There were times I used to have arguments with people and those arguments would simmer for days, like literally for days I'd be heated and I couldn't even think without thinking about the argument and the exchange and replaying it in my mind. And I should have said this and wait till I see him again. And bruh, you know you growing for real. When I knew I was growing there, I would now have an argument with somebody. And then when I finish the conversation, I'm done with it. I ain't got nothing else to say. Ain't nothing else to talk about. And I don't even think about it no more. I go to Dairy Queen and get me a Reese's Blizzard. Like, it's one thing for us to be physically blessed, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, we got to mature to a higher place. And this is why I'm trying to challenge some of you today. Some of you today, your challenge ain't in your degrees. I can't get no more degrees. I've gone to the top. I've been to the mountaintop. I can't get no more. Okay. I've got all the degrees you can get, but a law degree and a medical degree. That's it. And I don't want those. Understand this. I can't go no further educationally. And some of you can't go no further education. You can't go no further materially, but where you can go further is in your mentality. Where you can go further is in your spiritual growth. Because I'm here to tell you, if you don't, no, you ain't stopping, Nikki. No, you ain't. If you don't continue to grow and let every area of you grow, especially mentally and spiritually, you will be blessed physically, naturally, but you will struggle emotionally. You will struggle mentally. Things will drain you and you will let it drain you, and people will know it's draining you. I had somebody hit me up this week and said, you good, Pastor? Yeah, I'm straight. Ain't nothing wrong, literally. And I don't know if that person was just shocked by my response, but I meant it. Like, ain't nothing wrong. The stuff that used to work me up don't even work me up anymore. You know why? Because when you live mentally and spiritually in higher places, and you understand processes, and you understand that bigger things require bigger spaces, require bigger circles, require different circles, rather, require different atmosphere. When you understand those things, and you understand that God takes you through process to get to promise, you don't let stuff rattle you. Like, so what? And that's how you got to live. And that very much comes across to people as a nonchalant. You know, sometimes one of the knocks that I've heard from people that are close to me is, you know, it comes across as nonchalant, like, you don't care. No, I care, but I don't care. Like, two words. Like, I care, but I don't care. Like, my kids got this thing with bussing, right? I don't know who taught my kids bussing, but when I make something food and they eat it, they be like, Daddy, this bussing. And I'd be like, is it bussing or just bussing? And Giselle and Ford told me, if you just say bussing, that means it ain't that good. It's good, but it ain't that good. But when it's bussing, it's good. That's how I look at caring. When you're in the right place, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, stuff happened to you, you care, but you don't care. Does that make sense? I'm a practical teacher. Does this make sense? You care, but you don't care. You know why? Because mentally, spiritually, emotionally, you're in a different place. And sometimes you have to pinch yourself to make sure you're good. But then you realize, and I think somebody put this in the comments, after you finish pinching yourself, you realize, no, ain't nothing wrong with you. It's called growth. You ain't changed, you grew. You ain't switch up, you grew. Does this make sense? All right. And this is why some of you, your patience is running so thin. Some of you are in situations, circumstances right now, environments right now that are literally working your nerves. And the reason it's working your nerves is because spiritually, emotionally, you are in a higher place, but you are stuck in bad spaces. And you know, if you've ever flown, the higher you go in the air, the thinner the air gets. Your ears pop to give you that indication. Your ears begin to pop because the higher you go, the thinner the air becomes. Some of you are running out of patience right now. Why? Because you're trying to live your life in a high space. You're trying to live your life in a high space. And when you try to live your life in a high space, it requires the right atmosphere. It requires the right people. It requires the right mentality. Is this making sense to anybody? All right. Now, let me move. I don't have time to read. Yeah, I'm going to read all of this quickly. I got 10:21. Let me hurry. Like this video. Fill it up with hearts if this is making sense. I want to see it. Okay. St. Matthew, chapter 17. And let me read verse 5 through 13. St. Matthew, chapter 17, verse 5 through 13. Let me read this quickly, okay? I'm going to run through this because I got to get through 2 more points and then I'm done. 2 more points and some sub-points and I'm done. But I'm going to try to get this done in 8 minutes. Look at this. While he was still speaking, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and suddenly a voice came out of the cloud, saying, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear him. Verse 6, and when the disciples heard it, they fell on their faces and were greatly afraid. But Jesus, this is when they were in the high mountain, Jesus with his 3 homeboys. Jesus came and touched them and said, Arise and do not be afraid. Verse 8, when they had lifted up their eyes, they saw no one but Jesus only. Verse 9, now as they came down from the mountain, Jesus commanded them, saying, Tell the vision to no one until the Son of Man is risen from the dead. Verse 10, and his disciples asked him, saying, Why then do the scribes say that Elijah must come first? Verse 11, Jesus answered and said to them, Indeed, Elijah is coming first and will restore all things. Verse 12, but I say to you that Elijah has come already, and they did not know him, but did to him whatever they wished. Likewise, the Son of Man is also about to suffer at their hands. Verse 13, then the disciples understood that he spoke to them of John the Baptist. Here's the thing I want you to record. I read all of that to say this. Record this. There are some things you cannot understand without a season in a higher space. There are some things you cannot understand without a season in a higher space. Record it. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler all week long. There are some things you cannot understand without a season in a higher space or a higher place, whichever one you want to write, right? Because after Jesus takes them up to the mountain and he transfigures, he explains to them what's going to happen in the future. In other words, he takes Peter, James, and John up there and he says, listen, I'm about to go through something, right? Something's going to happen to me and y'all make no sense. But the Son of Man's got to be risen from the dead. He's talking this stuff to them and giving them a foreshadow of his death or his crucifixion, his death, and him being risen from the grave. So he's giving them the foreshadow of this. Okay. So when he gives them the foreshadow of this, the first thing that he does is he tells them, listen, I'm going to tell you this, but don't tell nobody until after I rise from the grave. So I'm going to give you this information, but don't go running telling nobody. And this is an important lesson that some of us need to get. Another clear fire sign to be able to measure and evaluate your circle is to measure the leaks. This barbershop talk right here. If you want to know how solid your circle is, check the circle and see how many holes you got in it. Can you tell the people in your circle stuff and not worry about hearing it on the streets again? Let me give y'all some common sense wisdom. You're going to know you got the right circle when you can tell the folks in your circle stuff and not worried about hearing it in the streets. Sometimes I have tested my circle to see if I got the right circle and literally gave them information just to see if I would hear it again. If you want to know whether or not your circle tight, ask yourself, how many holes do I have in the boat? And some of y'all think you got a tight circle, you got holes all in your boat. So the first thing he tells them, he says, listen, don't tell nobody this. Then the disciples begin to ask about Elijah coming first. And then he says Elijah's already come. Then they were able to determine that Elijah he spoke of was already John the Baptist. But here's the thing. This is the greater point, and I want you to record this. When you spend time in high spaces, God sharpens your understanding. I want you to record this. When you spend time in high spaces, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, when you spend time in high spaces, God sharpens your understanding. Come on, y'all. I need y'all to record this because some of you are going to start thinking better after today. You're going to start thinking about your life better after today. You're going to start thinking about where you are in your life better after today. When you spend time in high spaces, God sharpens your understanding. You got to get your thinking off the ground. You got to set proper boundaries. Think about the things that only you can solve, that you can fix. You got to get your thinking off the ground, and you got to put your thinking in high spaces. Worry about what you can worry about. You can control. Control only what you can control. Don't carry other people's burden. When you spend time in high spaces, God then begins to sharpen your understanding about your life. He begins to sharpen your understanding about the things you're experiencing. He begins to sharpen the things about concerning your life that don't make sense to you when you spend time mentally, spiritually, emotionally in higher spaces. Okay, this is about intimacy. This is about spending intimate time with him. This is about spending, here we go, intimate times with yourself. Some of y'all need to shut down the clutter of the noise. You're on social media and your phone so much that you don't do basic things like write and journal and do things that help to improve who you are so that you can get some clarity about your life. Listen, y'all, some of the greatest clarity that I've received, especially in this COVID season that we've all experienced and that we're coming out of. You know, some of the greatest times and seasons of clarity that I've received over these last couple of years didn't come from no preacher. I can be honest with you, it didn't come from no preacher. It didn't come from no therapist. Those are all good. It came from me spending time with myself. Because when you spend time with yourself, writing, journaling, reading, getting clarity regarding your life, when you start spending time with yourself, then all of a sudden, things begin to slow down and make sense to you. And your understanding begins to get sharpened about where you are in your life and what you're experiencing in your life and what you're going through in your life. And some of you have no clarity right now because you spend no time with yourself. None. Like everything is hustle bustle on the go. Some of you are so busy doing stuff for everybody else but you. Now, I annoyed a lot of people last year. I literally had folks saying they got upset that I was posting about where I'm traveling. Don't look this summer. It's going to get worse. Don't even unfriend me from May until about the end of September. Just unfriend me. Because I discovered something that, especially for you people that are what I call the pourers, people who always pour into others, people who are always giving to others, people who are always serving others, people who are always the givers to others. Let me tell you something. The best thing you can do for your life is go through a season where you start pouring back into yourself. Because an empty cup ain't got nothing to give. An empty cup has nothing to pour. And do it unapologetically. I unapologetically pour into me. I unapologetically spoil myself. Period. So that when I present myself to you, I'm the version of me that you need me to be. And this requires spending some intimate time with yourself. Cut the phone off. Stop feeling like you got to respond to everybody. I don't care what they think about you. Dr. Zeb changed. I probably did, but I also grew. You don't have to respond to everybody. You don't have to explain stuff to everybody. So what? There's a price to pay for it, though. And that price is called misunderstanding. Before people really deeply think about your growth, they'll misunderstand you. They'll miscalculate you. That's the price you got to pay. But if you really work on yourself and spend intimate time with you, that's a price you're willing to pay. And you have to be willing to pay that price. Is this making sense to anybody at all? Okay. Here's the last thing. I'm in St. Matthew, chapter 17, verse 14 through 17, New Living Translation. Let me read this really quickly, give you the last point, and I'm done. All right. St. Matthew chapter 17, verse 14 through 17, New Living Translation. And when they had come to the multitude, a man came to him, kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is an epileptic and suffers severely, for he often falls into the fire and often into the water. Verse 16, so I brought him to your disciples, but they could not cure him. Verse 17, then Jesus answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long should I be with you? How long should I bear you? Bring him here to me. Jesus comes out of the mountain with his boys. He comes out of the mountain, comes back to the ground, and there's a miracle that somebody needs that's waiting on Jesus. Somebody needs a miracle from Jesus. And as soon as he comes out of the high place, everything that he needed in the high place, he was prepared to give when he came from the high place. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? The faith to believe in God and the faith to experience big things is not the same. This is going to shake somebody's theology today. The faith to believe in God and the faith to experience big things in your life is not the same. We can't confuse saving faith from miracle faith. This is what I'm trying to say, because I know some of y'all scratching your head. How could that not be the same? Well, here's a better way to put it. We can't confuse miracle faith from saving faith. The same faith that saves you is not the same faith that's going to get you a miracle. Now, I know y'all don't believe that, but I'm going to prove it. The same faith that saves you is not the same faith that's going to get you a miracle, because if that were the case, then you would have everything you want in your life right now. If that were the case, many of you wouldn't be begging God to do the stuff that you asking him to do, when all you would be realizing is all you got to do is ask. See, to be saved, saving faith is as simple as believing that he exists. This is too much. Saving faith is just believing that he exists. We say this every week, Romans 10:9. If we confess with our mouths, believe with our hearts, Jesus Christ is who he is, did what he did for us, we are saved. Saving faith is a confession that he exists. Miracle faith requires more than believing who he is. That's just part of it. Miracle faith requires us to believe what he can do. Saving faith believes who he is. Miracle faith believes what he can do. And if you don't believe that, and that doesn't make sense, it is possible to believe in somebody or to believe somebody exists, but not believe in what they can do. Man, this is God. Have you ever had people know you but not believe in you? Man, this is great. Like, this is great. Have you ever had people know you but not believe in you? Huh? If the answer is yes, you just proved my point. If you've ever had people know you and claim to know you but not believe in you, you have demonstrated the difference between saving faith and miracle faith. Because saving faith just is a recognition that Jesus exists. Miracle faith says, not only do I know he exists, I believe he can do what he say he can do. So if I need this, I believe he can do it. See, a lot of people believe in Jesus. They don't really believe in what he can do. So perhaps, here we go. What has this got to do with big things and high places, Dr. Zeb? I hope this has all made sense, but let me just give you this last point to tie it together. Perhaps the reason why you're not experiencing big things happening in your life is twofold. One, you have not spent enough time in higher spaces. We proved that. But number two, maybe you're believing that God exists, but you're not believing in what he can do. Because I'm here to tell you, you can believe he exists all day, but until you start believing that he can do what he say he can do, ain't nothing gonna happen for you. Nothing. It's one thing to know him. Go back to the example. It's one thing to know him. It's another thing to believe in him, to believe on him. I like that, Marco. That's good, because the Bible says it's nothing to believe in him, to believe on him. As the scripture has says, out of your belly will flow rivers of living water. Some of y'all ain't seeing no progress because you believe in him. You ain't believing on him. You're believing that he exists, but you ain't believing in what he can do. And see, when you believe that he exists and also believe in what he can do, then guess what? You don't have anxiety about what ain't. See, some of us ain't got no anxiety right now because we not only believe in him, we believe on him. We not only believe in him, we believe in what he can do. So we ain't tripping. We in a high place with the right people, or trying to get the right people in our circle, the right atmosphere, the right environment to position ourselves for the right things to happen. You ain't panicking. Somebody needs to hear this today. Stop panicking. You're in the right environment. You're in the right place. If you believe in him and believe what he can do, you have no reason to fear. None whatsoever. I'm done. This bless anybody? I'm finished. This bless anybody today? I told you it was a powerful one. Somebody needs to go back and watch this message, this broadcast today. Somebody's watching the replay right now. And I'm telling you, if you are, I hope you've taken notes. If you haven't, go back and watch it again. You need to apply this stuff to your life. Apply it to your life. This is a very practical. It was one of my favorite stories in the Bible. It's a practical story. But you need to apply it to your life. Why? Because it is critically important that it's critically important that you position yourself to live in high spaces, to have the right environment, to have the right people around you, to see the right things happen in your life. Listen, I want to pray for you quickly. If you got a prayer request, I want you to type it in the comments. I've got 30 seconds. I got to hurry. Of course, now I'm running out of time because I've run my mouth so much today. But if you got a prayer request, I want you to type it in the comments quickly. If you have a prayer request that we cannot see, you can email your prayer request to info@rehabcc.org. Whether you're watching live or the replay, you can email your prayer request to info@rehabcc.org. Put in the subject line prayer request. It will get routed to me every single morning, except for normally Sundays. Sunday might be the morning that I sleep later, some Saturdays. But normally Sunday is the only day that I don't get up early. But every other day, up 4:30, get up, pray over your prayer requests, work out, get into my day. And I want you to know that I read your prayer requests. I go back and watch the replays. I literally fast forward to the end of the broadcast if I don't need to rewatch the word again myself. Fast forward to the end of the broadcast and I watch your prayer requests and I read over your prayer requests because I want them ingrained in my spirit as I'm praying this week. And I want you and what you're dealing with to be ingrained in my spirit. So I want you to know I see your request. I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. And I know that things are going to work out exactly the way you want them to, exactly the way your heart desires. So type in your prayer request quickly, so that I can pray for you and pray for everything concerning you. All right. After you've typed in your prayer request, I want you to connect your hands like this as a sign of symbol of faith, as if we are touching and agreeing. I want you to clasp your hands like this, because we're getting ready to pray together. All right. We're going to pray. We're going to dedicate our lives to Christ. For those of you that need to do that, we're going to sow seed and we're going to be done. All right. Come on, clasp your hands like this as a sign of symbol of faith. Let's pray. Father, in Jesus' name, I thank you today for your word. I thank you for this time of praying, teaching that you've given us, gathering that you've given us. I pray that something was said that has encouraged somebody, that maybe even has inspired somebody, convicted somebody to want to be the best version of themselves they can be. God, you get the glory from today's word, and allow us to be able to apply your word to our lives, that we might be everything you call us to be and more. Now, God, as we continue this prayer, I lift up to you every prayer request that's been typed on this line, every prayer request that's been sent to our inbox, every prayer request that's been typed in on the replay. We lift it up to you, God, and ask now that you would answer the prayers of your people as only you can. Make ways, open doors, meet needs, grant hearts' desires. I ask now, God, that you would let this week for somebody else be just like it was for me, a week filled with literally unexpected miracles coming out of nowhere that are exceeding and abundant above everything that we can ask or think. Do it for somebody's family. Do it for somebody's career. Do it for somebody's relationships. Do it for somebody's finances. Do it for somebody's personal goals, their business. Do it for somebody who needs it desperately today. And God, I know that we will continue to praise you, not just for what you've done, the things you do. We will simply praise you for who you are and who you've been in our lives. We thank you for these things. And we believe this week to be a week filled with miracles. In Jesus' name, amen. Do me a favor. If you prayed that prayer of faith with us, I want you to type in the comments quickly. It is so. Hurry, quickly. It is so. It is so. It is so. Every time you say amen, you're simply saying it is so. The word amen translates to it is so. It is done. It is well. And so if you prayed that prayer of faith, I want you to type it in the comments quickly. It is so. It is so. As you're doing that, if anybody wants to be saved, if anybody wants to dedicate their life to Christ, if anybody wants to commit their life to Christ, I need you to stop what you're doing and listen to me right now. The Bible tells us in Romans 10:9, we just taught it. If you confess with your mouth, believe with your heart that Jesus Christ is who he is and did what he did for us, you are saved. Salvation has nothing to do with being perfect. I'm going to say this again. Salvation has nothing to do with being perfect. Salvation has everything to do with making a decision to live your life better tomorrow than you did today. Salvation is about recognizing the fact that Jesus exists, that he died and rose from the grave for us, so that every time we mess up, we've got some blood for that. That's all salvation is. And so if you want to be saved today, if you want to dedicate your life to Christ, I want you to stop what you're doing. Literally, if you're driving, I need you to pull over. If you're at brunch, I want you to put down the bacon and the eggs. If you're swimming somewhere out on the West Coast or out of the country in some nice island, I need you to get up out of the water and sit down and listen to me. Because if you want to be saved, I want you to repeat this prayer of faith right where you are. And God wants to save you right where you are. Are you ready? If you want to be saved, say this with me. Say it. I'm a sinner. I'm not perfect. I've made some mistakes. I have some flaws. And I even have some failures. But I do believe that Jesus Christ was born of a virgin, lived on this earth just like I'm living. He suffered, bled, and died on the cross. But 3 days later, rose again for my sins. Because he lives, I can live, and I am saved. My friends, if you prayed that prayer of faith, I want to welcome you to the royal family of Jesus Christ. You've made an incredible decision today to dedicate your life to Christ. In fact, do us all a favor. If you prayed that prayer of faith, I want you to put in the comments right now, #salvation. I want you to put that in the comments now, #salvation. If you prayed that prayer of faith, I want you to put that there. Let me know you've made that dedication. That's no different than you walking up to an altar at a church, I want you to put in the comments, #salvation. Let me know you made that dedication today, because I really believe in the power of dedicating our lives to him. When we give our lives back to him, he makes incredible things happen for us. And God's about to make some incredible things happen for so many of you. Why? Because today you've made that decision to give back to him. Now, here's what I need you to do. I need you to go find you a church home somewhere. I don't care where it is. Find you a church home somewhere, a Bible teaching, Bible believing, Bible preaching church. It's a community-based church, and join that church. I don't care if it's in person. I don't care if it's virtual. Go be a part of that ministry so that now you can continue to grow in your faith. You can continue to surround yourself with people who are like-minded, who are trying to grow just as you are. And you can get strength from other believers. We get our strength as believers from other believers, right? From seeing the testimonies and experiences of other people and the things that they've overcome. We are overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimonies. And so I want you to find you a church home somewhere where you can connect with other people and continue to grow in your faith. Maybe you're tuned in today and you're saying, hey, listen, I'm really growing with Rehab. I love the Rehab Christian Center. I want to be a part of this community, this church. Maybe I don't live in Greensboro. I want to be a virtual member. Maybe I do live in Greensboro. I want to be a in-person physical member. And maybe you're looking for a church home. If you would love to be a part of the Rehab Christian Center, I'd love to be your pastor. Do us a favor. Just type in the comments, #membership. All right. And if you do that, one of our moderators will reach out to you, get some information from you. And it's that simple. We'll welcome you to the largest, not the largest church on the planet, not the loudest church on the planet. Right now, we don't even have a building, but we'll welcome you to by far the nicest church on the planet, the Rehab Christian Center. And I'd love to walk alongside you on this spiritual journey that is called your faith. If you're looking for a church home, just simply type in the comments, #membership. One of our moderators will get your information. We'll reach back out to you, and we will go from there. All right. Listen, y'all, let's sow a seed really quickly. It's Super Sunday, and I am so grateful that you've taken the opportunity to share with us this morning. I want to challenge you to give on this Super Sunday. The 3 ways you can give. We're not only giving our tithes, we're not only sowing an offering seed, we're giving our Super Seed Sunday. Every first Sunday, we give a $99 seed, and we give that seed to plan into the ministry and the things that we have coming up. And it's so vital now as we're looking for a new space. We're in a place now where we can just save and just begin to save and save up and prepare for whatever will come next. And so I want to challenge you to give. If this ministry has blessed you, you can give one of 3 ways. You can give via CashAPP, $REHABCCGIVE. That's CashAPP, $REHABCCGIVE. You can give through our website, www.rehabcc.org, and simply choose online giving. Or you can text REHABWORKS to 88202. That's REHABWORKS to 88202. Again, you can give via CashAPP. CashAPP, that's $REHABCCGIVE. $REHABCCGIVE. You can give through our website, www.rehabcc.org. That's www.rehabcc.org. And just choose online giving. Or you can text REHABWORKS to 88202 last time, didn't I? You can text REHABWORKS to 336. See, I messed up. 336-642-3210. That's 336-642-3210. Still got to get back in the motion of that. Again, REHABWORKS to 336-642-3210. And I also want to say about that short code, if you want to be signed up to our texting system where we send out announcements every week about service and other special reminders, just simply text REHAB to 336-642-3210. It's the same number. Lock that number in your phone. I have it locked in my phone called Rehab Info. And so every time a text comes out, it shows Rehab Info there and I get the announcement. But save that number to your phone as the Rehab Info number, 336-642-3210. And you can text Rehab to that number to be signed up to our mailing list, text mailing list. And you can text REHABWORKS to that number to give. And either way, we know God's going to bless you. How? Good measure, pressed down, shaking together, running over. He's going to send somebody to be a blessing to you because that's just who he is. Listen, y'all, I love y'all. I'm praying for y'all. I'm rooting for y'all. Wasn't this a powerful message today? Do me a favor. If you haven't already, make sure you share this message with someone. You tag someone in this video, tell them to go back and watch it. And maybe you're going to be working out this week. Go back and watch it as you're working out, walking, working, whatever you're doing. And make sure you do this. And then make plans to join us this Tuesday, 7:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here at the Rehab Christian Center, for our Tuesday night live study. And I tell you, I'm just so excited, just so grateful for all of you that continue to support and pray. And I'm just grateful that you've tuned in this morning. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I'm praying for y'all. I feel like I'm getting long-winded, but I got to go. I'm praying for y'all. I love y'all. I'm rooting for you. I want you to have a fantastic week. Peace and blessings. I'll see you Tuesday.
Thank you for watching the Rehab Christian Center live experience. If this broadcast has been a blessing to you and you would like to be a blessing to our leader, Dr. Zeb Talley III, you can sow a seed into his ministry by CashAPP at $Pastor ZT3. It is our prayer that this message of hope encouraged, enlightened, and empowered you to be better. Please tune in Tuesday at 7:08 p.m. for our life study experience. And as always, be blessed and have a wonderful week.